Hello, explosive nerds. We are back with another epic journey. And this time we descend into the shadows of Gotham. Prepare yourselves, because this is not the Batman you know. Here, every page reveals a dark knight more brutal, more enigmatic. A Batman forged not only by pain, but by an even darker destiny. Welcome to the universe of Absolute Batman. An intense, cinematic, and haunting story where the line between hero and monster begins to fade. So you know what to do. Drop your explosive like, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell for all notifications, and leave your comment below. What do you think of this absolute version of the Dark Knight? Because the night in Gotham never sleeps, and the journey of Absolute Batman begins now. The cold morning at Gotham Zoo cuts like a blade. The corridor of bars echoes with children's laughter. And a hidden warning: bats are crazy. Bruce Wayne, still a boy, watches the winged creatures. At his side, Thomas Wayne, not the wealthy philanthropist, but the teacher and guardian. A man who teaches by vocation. In the middle of the school trip, Thomas Wayne calls out to Bruce. Thomas Wayne, Bruce! Bruce looks back. And the father continues, Thomas Wayne, we'll have plenty of time for bats later. Come on, let's begin. The camera follows Bruce from afar, dives into his curious eyes, and then closes on the silence that falls over him. The origin of the Dark Knight begins here. Not in luxury, but in loss. Not in privilege, but in pain. And as the shadows fall over the zoo, the symbol of the bat is no longer fascination. It is promise. The roar of a motorcycle cuts through the night in Gotham. Among the shadows of the city, the one who rides is not just a man, but a narrator from the past. Alfred Pennyworth speeds through the streets, while his mind speaks both to himself and to us. His thoughts are the voice that guides the scene. Alfred Pennyworth narrating in thought. Hello again, Gotham. It's been a long time. The headlights illuminate tunnels, alleys, skyscrapers. Pennyworth keeps reflecting at every turn he makes. Pennyworth, so, who are you today, huh? Who did you become while I was away? You are more beautiful. I admit, taller, more brilliant. The city lights shine, but the TV in a store window screams another reality. Reporter on TV. The gang the Balladeers kill 9 in a brutal attack, including 2 police officers. Crime wave. Alfred Pennyworth tightens his grip on the handlebars, feeling the weight of the streets. His eyes scan every corner, searching for the city's lost heart. Pennyworth, but deep down, something has changed. My 3rd time back, and I still haven't found it. Where is your heart? The motorcycle dives deeper into the alleys. His voice remains deep, intimate, a confession to Gotham itself. Pennyworth, you used to have a center warm and pulsing, but something has emptied you. Pennyworth, in truth, I don't recognize you anymore. I'm not sure if I like this new you, Gotham, but that's all right. I don't think you're going to like me very much either. Cut to his face, serious, determined. Pennyworth, my name is Alfred Pennyworth, and I am here to do some very bad things. After parking the motorcycle in front of a small grocery store, Alfred walks inside and finds Amir, the owner, a robust older man, immigrant, and longtime friend. Amir, good to see you, old friend. I still have your favorite in stock. Pennyworth, you are a giant among men, Amir. Amir, true, but I wouldn't leave your bike outside unless you're looking for trouble. Pennyworth, never. As Alfred takes the box handed to him by Amir, the narration continues. Heavy. Pennyworth, Amir left Kabul during the occupation 20 years ago. He invited me to his apartment many times. I even taught his children to play cricket. Sometimes I wonder if he would still invite me back if he knew the things I did in that conflict. But he runs the only decent tea house in Gotham, and that's why I keep my things next door. Pennyworth looks through the peephole in the door to see if everything is clear. He enters his cold quarters, almost a modern cave. Weapons lined up on the walls shine under the pale light. Pennyworth walks calmly, each step heavy as if he carried decades of war on his back. The kettle heats up, the gun rests beside the teacup, symbols of a life split between peace and violence. In the corner of the table, a dusty photo, a reminder of him with his daughter, and of what he lost. He raises the phone, hesitates, and finally makes the call. Julia's voicemail. Leave your message. Pennyworth. Julia? Hi. I know it's been a long time, but I'm in Gotham, at least for a while. I don't know if you still live here, but if you do, I'd be grateful for the chance to see you. This is your father. By the way, the call falls into emptiness. A heavy sigh fills the room. The computer screen glows in red. A merciless warning. In the palm of his hand, the phone vibrates with the silent response of an absent daughter. Pennyworth narrows his eyes, bitter irony on his lips. Very well. Damn it. She knows me far too well for this. The cold silence of the room mixes with the glow of the red screen. Pennyworth begins the communication, like a soldier who already knows too much of war. Pennyworth accessing, secure connection. The employer's voice rises, dripping with irony. Employer, is the tea as good as you remember? Pennyworth, direct, delicious. What is the assignment? Employer, for the last 3 months, a gang known as the Balladeers has been spreading chaos, massacring citizens at random, increasing the murder rate by 700% since then. A daycare was set on fire yesterday. They danced outside while 32 burned. The camera focuses on his face, serious, hardened by time. Pennyworth, I read the file, but may I ask, why you pulled me out of Singapore? I was so close to the target. I had been chasing him for 5. The weight of the mission falls on Pennyworth. The silence says more than 1,000 words. Employer, you are needed here, and frankly, no, you cannot go back. Priorities. Employer, your task is strictly surveillance. Gather information on these balladeers, but do not engage. A detail emerges, like a shadow within the shadow. Employer, one note, there may be another player in the city. We've only had glimpses, but he seems to be investigating the gang as well. If he gets too close, you are authorized to confront him. Pennyworth's reply cuts dry. Lovely. Employer, we are sending coordinates to the bike as we speak, places to explore possible targets. Enjoy the tea. Terminating. The last words of Pennyworth sound almost like an oath to himself. What's gotten into you, old man? Questioning orders. You are a servant. They call you serve, be it in Saigon, Khartoum, or... The screen fades. The mission begins. The shadows of Gotham swallow the alleys. Pennyworth's eyes burn with suspicion as he whispers the city's name like an old enemy. Pennyworth, Gotham. He crosses the heavy doorway. The echo of his footsteps resounds like a warning. The space is cold, bare. Broken chains on the floor remind him that nothing here is safe. Pennyworth stops before the void, his jaw clenched with contained fury. The words are spat out, sharper than blades. Pennyworth, I hate this fucking city. The weathered facade reveals the rusted sign, Croc's Gym. Amid ruins and unfinished buildings, the city whispers decay. But inside, there is no silence. There is fight. There is survival. Inside the improvised ring, the punching bag explodes with every strike. Hardened fists, heavy breathing, the body as a weapon. Fighter, no fear. Another impact cuts through the air. Fighter, no weakness. Kicks resound, punches echo. The discipline is brutal. Each strike is not just training. It is war. One final kick spins the body, smashing the target with fury. A voice in the darkness interrupts. Tonight you are a bell rings through the ring. The shadow of a new challenger rises before him. Eyes locked, teeth clenched. The voice is a challenge. I think it's my turn. Nothing more and nothing less than brutal Bruce. The silence of the gym breaks as the punching bag swings. One of the fighters, surprised by Bruce's presence, apologizes. Hello, Bruce. Sorry, I was just getting everything ready for you. Big fight tonight. I have to get in the right mood. It's brutal out there, you know? Bruce responds, his eyes filled with cold determination. Bruce, don't worry. Love is in the air. Now get out. He moves toward the bag. His fist explodes against the leather. Another punch, even more devastating. The entire gym falls silent, the impact echoing like thunder. All eyes turn to the newcomer who turns training into destruction. Another strike cuts through the air. One of the men in the back, watching in shock, whispers under his breath, "My God!" The brutal Bruce had just shown he wasn't here to play. Bruce's punches explode against the heavy bag. Each impact blends with distant memories. The past returns. The roar of a lion at the zoo. Thomas Wayne speaks to the class. Thomas Wayne. "So, what did we learn, class?" Bruce strikes with fury. Young Bruce at his father's side says, "HMN, that this guy is a spoiled rich kid." The children's laughter echoes, but Bruce's eyes are only on his father. Another hit on the bag. With every memory. Thomas Wayne. "Enlighten me, Bruce?" Bruce. "Well, it says here he sleeps 20 hours. Plus, he's fed ribs 3 times a day. And he never has to be afraid of anything." Bruce lands a powerful punch on the bag. Thomas Wayne. "Fair enough. He may be spoiled, but he will never attack anyone. And I mean never." Bruce. "And he never has to go to school." Again the class erupts in laughter. Bruce now strikes the bag with a strong kick. Thomas Wayne. Says the boy to his father, the teacher. Young Bruce looks up and answers, "I'm just playing with you, Mr. Wayne." Thomas Wayne lowers his voice, firm yet gentle. "Forgiven. So, are you excited for the movie tonight?" Bruce. "You mean, excited for a nap? Do I really have to go?" Another blow in the present. Thomas Wayne. "Yes, it was at a movie." Bruce interrupts his father. "That you and Emma met, I know. But why was I born?" Suddenly, the sound of a gunshot. Thomas Wayne turns, startled, and says, "My God!" The memory ends. The image of his father still etched in his mind. A crash makes the punching bag explode into sand. The ground trembles. The dust rises. Waylon looks annoyed. The crocodile wrapped around his body shifts. "Waylon, seriously?" Bruce wipes the sweat and says, "Shit. My bad, Waylon." Waylon sighs, cynical. "So, it's 90 for the bag, and 30 for the sand." Bruce snaps back, incredulous. "What? The sand comes with the bag." Waylon. "For cleaning up the sand, my friend. My time has been expensive lately." Bruce stares back, defiant. "You're really gonna do this?" Waylon smirks, adjusting the crocodile. "Yes, I'm thinking of calling the place the Scales of Gotham. Ozzy gave me the exotic pet license. He's in on it too." Bruce wraps his hands tighter, his gaze cold, humorless. "Ozzy? Man. One of these days he's gonna end up dead." Waylon leans back, with that mocking tone that never leaves him. "You don't watch those nature programs, brother? Penguins know how to hide their eggs. Besides, he's one of ours." Speaking of which, Bruce turns his face, cold, leaving no room for talk. "Bruce, I can't." Waylon keeps pushing, insistent. "You haven't come to the Porcaire in months, man. Everyone's been there this week. Eddie Harvey, I'm trying to call Selena too." Bruce cuts him off, firm. "I already said I can't." Waylon exhales, heavy. "At least tell me you're going to City Hall tonight." Bruce adjusts his coat, already leaving. "I'll buy you a punching bag as soon as I get paid." Waylon raises his voice, furious. "Come on, man. The whole city is falling apart. This shit with the balladeros. Did you see what they did to that family last night? I almost puked watching the footage. Tying the mother and the baby to the damn bumper, and seeing which one." Bruce interrupts, blunt. "I have to go." Waylon stares, incredulous. "What's happening with you?" Bruce walks out the door. Waylon yells, his voice echoing through the empty gym. "Hey Bruce, I'm talking to you." The camera lingers on a framed picture on the wall. Smiling children, memories of better times. Waylon's voice softens into a desperate plea. "This is our home, man. Someone has to do something." In the silence, broken only by the electronic noise, the yacht of the party animals cuts through the waters of Gotham. Lights flash, music blares, bodies dive into the pool. But this is not fun. It is power displayed with arrogance. One of the guests, Dr. Benjamin, looks around in awe. Is it possible to get any higher than this? Another answers with irony, toasting the host. Of course, Dr. Benjamin. The scene cuts inside. A luxurious banquet on the table, false laughter echoing. But the host's dark mask, a black helmet with a cadaverous face, shows that nothing here is a celebration. One of the henchmen comments with contempt. Better? He's got a doctorate in musicology, you know? Dr. Benjamin laughs, incredulous. Are you serious? Is he serious? The silence falls heavy when another guest leans on the table. The voice, deep. What do you think this is? Some fucking party? Everyone goes quiet. The helmet tilts slightly forward. And the answer, cold as death, seals the moment. Yes, yes, I do. On the yacht, filled with music and cigar smoke, tension rises at the negotiation table. A woman steps out of the pool, nearly naked in her bikini, and says, "Go? You coming, baby?" Dr. Benjamin laughs with irony, puffing deeply on his cigar. Well, the rumor is that those pieces of shit from the balladeros are your guys. The DJ keeps the music blasting. Falcone, killing people left and right, old ladies, children. For what? For why? The masked leader remains silent. Dr. Benjamin insists, firm, almost spitting his words. There are rules, understand? Gotham is not just chaos. A boy approaches and says, Roman. Roman replies, "Speak, kid." The boy answers, "When do you all come to dance?" Roman with enthusiasm, "Mr. Falcone, what do you say we go? The night is still young." Dr. Benjamin, voice heavy and grave, "It's 3 in the morning, damn it. Put that kid to bed. Turn off the music. And listen." Roman turns to the DJ. "Turn it off. Please." "Now I'm listening." "Dr. Benjamin, we've heard rumors about you. We've heard you're some kind of big shot." Falcone keeps his eyes locked, calm, cold. "We've heard rumors about you too. Contacts all over the world. Strange animals. Goats here. Giraffes there. They say you're tied to some global cabal, sick Illuminati shit. Is that it?" Dr. Benjamin, his face uneasy. "The truth is we've been in this business for 150 years. A century and a half of history. You need to respect that." Falcone, "We have brothers and cousins all over Gotham. So take your little party boat and sail off by dawn. Or by dawn you'll be dead. Understood?" The woman steps into the conversation. "Baby, show them the masks." The masked leader rises, his shadow imposing. "Good idea, darling. Friends, you're getting it all wrong. History is not what it was. But what it is, what we are celebrating here. It's the end." Dr. Benjamin raises his eyes. "Wow, more masks. Roman, not just any masks. Death masks. Collect them. They say one is from Socrates himself. Only 2 exist in the world. One in Mycenaean gold, and this one, made of virgin marble dust." Roman points to another piece, his tone almost religious. "This is Martin Luther to your left. Unique, made of beeswax and pine resin." A sip of champagne, and the leader continues. "This is George Washington. Right there. Plaster from the very quarries of Virginia." His gaze fixes now on a familiar face. "And this one is your brother, Mr. Falcone." Falcone, "My brother? What?" Everyone stares at each other, stunned. The masked man completes, cold as ice. "And that one, Mr. Maroney, is your cousin, and all the others beside them." Dr. Benjamin groans, knives stabbing into his eyes. Falcone trembles, desperate, trying to mask the fear. Roman concludes, offering places in his gallery of the dead. "And I have 2 spots left, just for you. Right, kid?" Glasses are raised. The metallic sound of the toast cuts through the air. Chaos erupts in seconds. Falcone's throat is sliced with a wire, muffled screams. Death arriving swift. Roman commands, "Hey, turn up the volume, please." And the macabre party begins again. The orange sky covers Gotham. A dark silhouette rises against the horizon. The bat watches and decides. On TV, anchors speak in despair. 6 more murders just today. The question is, who are these monsters? The balladeers? Some say they're deranged children. The camera shows graphic images, cut down with machetes. We warn you, the footage you're about to see is disturbing. You may believe that small children. The scenes reveal a massacre, bodies lying on the ground, blood everywhere. The anchor takes a deep breath, his voice breaking. The truth is, all of us here at the station are praying for Gotham, for its people, for its future. More scenes of the balladeers, armed and merciless. Meanwhile, the hooded figure remains in silence, his cape tearing through the wind. The broadcast continues. Tonight, Mayor Jim Gordon is holding an emergency city council meeting to decide what to do about the reign of terror of the balladeers. I expect it to be heated. The final scene closes with the bat's wings opening against the sunset, a foreshadowing of bloody battles to come. At an emergency municipal meeting, an auditorium consumed by fury, the crowd shouts against Gordon. Voices from the crowd. You're a disgrace, Gordon. Give up already. This is a joke. That's why I voted for Hill. Gordon, please, all of you, one at a time. All right then, go ahead, sir. A man rises, accusatory. You ran based on your experience as a cop, Gordon, and we gave you a chance. But under Mayor Hill, at least we weren't being killed. Whalen shouts, furious. Hamilton Hill is a damn criminal, man. We all know that. Another man fires back, heated. Maybe he is a criminal, but at least he's tough. A woman from the back. He would fight back. Gordon tries to explain, but the tension rises. We are fighting back. But this gang, we have no idea. An elderly shopkeeper raises his finger, his voice trembling. I run Finger Tailors on 27th Street. Every workday for 71 years I walk to my shop, except the day my son was born and the day my wife died. 18,302 times I walked there. But I won't go anymore. I don't walk anywhere anymore, because I am afraid. Pennyworth, the mix of fear and rage spreads through the place. Even from outside, it's impossible not to feel the explosive tremor that something bad is about to happen. Pennyworth, and then the balladeros appear. Masks of monkey skulls, cheap ballroom clothes, heavily armed, laughing and dizzy. Mary, this is going to be bad. Pennyworth, tactical communication. Pennyworth reporting, sir. The balladeros are on site, heavily armed. The employer's voice responds. Cold, copy. Report after the incident. Pennyworth, eyes fixed on the massacre about to unfold. Possible slaughter in progress, sir. Requesting permission to engage. The answer cuts like a blade. Permission denied. Pennyworth, whatever happens there, you only watch. Gordon stands at the podium, his voice firm despite the tension. Gordon, I promise you, we will bring these criminals to justice. Right now, I'm working 24 hours a day with the city police too. A man in the crowd rises. Furious, it says, the police? The balladeers set fire to a precinct 2 hours ago. It's all over the news. Officers running in flames down Kane Avenue and 3rd. Your cops can't do fucking anything. The chaos swells. People shouting. A murmur of hate spreads through the hall. Gordon takes a deep breath. Gordon, is that it? Calm down, Bullock. Bullock, beside him, clenches his fists, growling low. A secretary in the audience tries to bring order. Secretary, people, look around. This is what they want. All of us fighting, scared, blaming each other. Her voice echoes, firm. Secretary, but Jim Gordon has served the city honorably for a long time. I work with his office and I trust him. And I also trust us to be better than this. She raises her finger, staring at the crowd. Secretary, because it doesn't depend only on him or on Commissioner Bullock. It depends on all of us to stop these murderers. This is our city. And together we will. A metallic sound cuts through her speech. A grenade. Suddenly, the explosion. From the midst of chaos, 3 figures emerge. Skull masks hide their faces, empty eyes, weapons raised. They do not enter in silence, they enter to kill. The leader steps forward, his voice a blade of steel. I think the word you're looking for, miss, is die. The entire auditorium holds its breath. People step back, but there is no escape. On the stage, Gordon rises, facing them head-on. His firm hand points to himself, chest open to the threat. Gordon, up here. Look at me. Whatever you want, deal with me. The masked man bows slightly, like greeting a victim before execution. Hello, Jimmy. A second of silence, and then he spits the final contempt. Goodbye, Jimmy. The thug unleashes a storm of bullets without mercy. Gordon's body is struck. The impact throws him back. A scream cuts through the air. In the middle of the chaos, a desperate voice rises. His daughter's. Dad! Barbara Gordon runs, tears almost blinding her vision. She grabs her father's arm, and even bleeding, he holds her hand tightly. His eyes shine with pain, but also with command. His voice is the last ray of authority in the middle of the chaos. Gordon, Barbara, get everyone out of here. Now! The crowd panics, and Gotham sinks even deeper into hell. After the violence against Gordon, the three balladeros, their skull masks shining in the chaos. Weapons in hand, the leader's voice echoes. Cruel. Does anyone want to beg? Tell us about your children? Your sick grandmother? We love that. He answers himself cold. No? Fine then. Tear them apart. Suddenly, one of the thugs is pulled back. A scream cuts through the hall. The impact makes the balladero drop his weapon. A police officer, in shock. What the hell was that? The door is slammed with force. Another officer shouts, "Everyone back! Stay down!" Outside, the vision is terrifying. A man stares at the horizon, eyes wide. My God! There are dozens of them out there. A whole army. Inside the building, the tension rises. Barbara raises her weapon, determined. We need to protect. But a firm voice, hidden beneath the mask of the bat, interrupts. Batman, whatever you hear, do not open this door. Contractor, Pennyworth, report, casualty count. From above, Pennyworth watches and reports with cold calm. No casualties. The other player has entered the scene. The reply comes through the comm, firm. If he interrupts the information gathering, you must engage. Pennyworth confirms. Copied. Then, chaos erupts in front of City Hall. The balladeros bend, confused. What happened? Who? The shadows answer before any words. Something descends from above. Presence. A figure wrapped in a black cape. Like an omen. The shouts cut through the gunfire. Up there. Fire on him. Bullets rip the air, ricocheting against the bat's cape. Sparks light the night, but the figure does not fall. He remains unshaken. A click. A smoke grenade is released, and the battlefield changes in seconds. The flames light up the night sky. From within the smoke, the shadow takes shape. Batman descends like lightning. His cape spreads wide, like the wings of a creature of the night. Imposing fear, imposing silence. Bullets tear through the air, but they do not stop him. Each shot ricochets against the living darkness. He does not fall. He advances. In that moment, he is not a man. He is the very symbol of vengeance. The fury of Gotham falling upon its enemies, and the entire city feels the weight of his descent. From within the smoke, Batman advances like a predator. He crushes the skull-masked head of the first enemy, and he falls with no chance to react. Another is grabbed by the cape with its hooked ends, lifted into the air and hurled with brutality, his body shattering through a window. Terror spreads across the battlefield. Every movement of the bat is a sentence. A third tries to resist, before he mutters, "Wait, wait." But he is smashed against an iron lamppost, and the entire night seems to tremble. Darkness gives no respite. Gotham watches, struck silent with horror and fascination, before the living fury that dances within the shadows. From above, The night bears witness to fury. Batman descends like a demon of shadows, spreading his stance wide with a brutal strike. Two masked dancers are hurled into the air, bones breaking, muffled screams. The steps of City Hall become a battlefield. Bodies crash down, scattered like discarded dolls. And at the top, the bat rises, silent, relentless. Pennyworth, well, look at you. Whoever you are, you've got talent. I'll admit that. From a distance, Pennyworth watches through the scope, his breathing steady, his eyes carrying decades of war. Handler on comms. The other player is disrupting the scene. Pennyworth answers, still collecting data. Pennyworth, all right? Big man. Through the scope, the enemy swarm takes shape. Masked men, dressed in ballroom attire, descend like a macabre carnival. Hysterical laughter, weapons in hand. Pennyworth, let's see what you can really do. And at the top, standing alone against the tide, Batman waits. The true battle has only just begun. Batman raises his arms. His hands close with lethal calm, sharpening the night into silence. Pennyworth, you are fast. The blades appear, sliding from his fists like claws ready to tear. Pennyworth, steady, striking several balladeros square in their heads. Pennyworth, above all, focused. Another enemy falls, pierced by the two lances, and blood gushes out. Pennyworth, you were waiting for this, weren't you? Batman pulls another weapon from his arms to rip through several enemies. Pennyworth, yes, you were. You are trained too. Mixed martial arts, your own style. The carnage is brutal, but delicious because justice is being done. Blood everywhere, like paint on a canvas. Pennyworth, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you are, above all, a demolisher. A brutal strike, Batman rips the head off one. Brutality just like in Mortal Kombat. Pennyworth, brutal, but precise. An arm snaps against the knee. The sound of bone breaking echoes like a sentence. Pennyworth, you are putting on a show. This is a message. Justice arrives in the form of blood. Batman pulls the blades from the enemy, but in a controlled way, missing an artery by mere millimeters. Pennyworth, your knife strikes are bloody, but you avoid every artery by a hair. The steps of City Hall are now an improvised cemetery. Bodies lie side by side, skull masks scattered like the remnants of a defeated cult. Pennyworth, how brutal. Showman, so, an idealist. But what a hell. At the top of the stairs, Batman faces the next enemy. Broad shoulders, muscles exposed, the beast advances. The shout echoes like thunder. Get out! The battlefield now narrows. At the base of the City Hall steps, a colossus rises, muscles bulging, a grotesque skull mask on his face, and in his hands, a massive cleaver heavy as a death sentence. He raises the blade before all, his voice thundering with arrogance. This hand has killed more people than you can count. Now I'll give you a chance. Get the fuck out of our way. Behind him, a procession of masked balladeros watches in silence. Women in party dresses, men in torn suits, all wearing skulls, turning the encounter into a macabre dance. But the silence is not fear. It is expectation. They await the clash. On the other side, descending one step after another, Batman approaches. Each step is heavy, cold, a march of execution. In his hands, a baton connected to the bat on his chest plate. Every piece of his armor becomes a lethal weapon. But in his gaze, hidden behind the mask, burns something greater, the certainty of what will happen. The giant advances. The bat does not retreat. The inevitable confrontation begins here. The masked giant raises the machete, roaring with savagery, ready to strike. The blow comes like thunder, the blade finds flesh. Batman, with his precision skill, with his axe, cuts the hand of the monstrous partygoer. The world turns red for an instant. Blood sprays, dripping across the weapon that now weighs like condemnation. The Colossus staggers, trying to resist. The body wavers, breath falters. he still finds strength to spit hatred. You. Batman stares, his voice cold as steel. Batman, I heard that sometimes they can put it back. There's a hospital 3 blocks south of here. Or was it east? Suddenly I can't seem to remember. A step forward like a sentence. But I would run. The giant collapses. The crowd of masked partygoers, in shock, falls silent. But the dark night doesn't give them time to breathe. He turns to the others, his shadow covering the battlefield. Batman, as for the rest of you, I'll give you one chance to get the fuck out of my way. The staircase now trembles not with gunfire, but with the weight of decision. And Gotham holds its breath. Batman rises at the top of the staircase, his torn cape swinging like the wings of a demon. The voice explodes, deep, dragging every syllable like a sentence. Batman, get out of my way! The party crashers retreat, skull masks reflecting fear. For a second, Gotham breathes hope. Pennyworth, observing, very well. Pennyworth, with calculated coldness. But if you were a true strategist, you would have prepared a trap for those who fled from. But then, the strategy changes. Batman extends his hand, activates the explosive, blow up the staircase. The flame consumes everything, bringing with it the promise of hell. The flames tear through the night. The fire devours the steps, bodies thrown in all directions. Hope dissolves in flames. Pennyworth closes his eyes, as if he had already foreseen the fate. Pennyworth, heh! On the communicator, the contractor's voice comes urgent, almost impatient. Pennyworth? What is happening out there? The satellite images make no sense. Whoever this player is, you must engage. Copy? As the flames still burn, a new presence emerges. Pennyworth. Through the smoke, firm boots step onto the courthouse stairs, consumed by chaos. A cold voice on the comm. Pennyworth. Affirmative. Pennyworth aims the shotgun at Batman. Pennyworth. This is the sound of an automatic DC-34 shotgun, son. There are only 3 of them in the world. It could blow your brains all over this sidewalk. Batman remains still, raising only a skull mask taken from a fallen enemy. Pennyworth continues. Pennyworth. Before you even blink, the soldier Pennyworth steadies his aim. But the shadow moves before he can react. A devastating kick shatters his guard, hurling Pennyworth to the ground. The weapon slips from his hands, echoing against the concrete. Batman, with a swift motion, snatches the weapon in midair. He studies its weight, the details of the killing machine, and delivers only one phrase, cold as a sentence. Batman, seems dangerous. The enemy lies defeated, and the night, once again, belongs to the Bat. The next day, all of Gotham was talking about one name. The question echoed in bars, on the streets, in the newspapers. Who is Batman? Pennyworth, in his cold and analytical narration. So, who are you really? Bruce Wayne. The scene cuts to a young worker blending in among construction men. His face hidden under a cap, his clothes plain. No one suspects. Pennyworth continues. You cover your tracks well. It's easier when you are nobody. Just a 24-year-old guy. A mother, a social worker. A father, a teacher. You grew up in Crime Alley. Important friends in low places. A tight group. The images show him walking the streets, taking the subway, always anonymous. You're smart. You stood out in school. Your parents tested you, and you scored close to genius level. Flash of memory. Bruce is a child, holding a trophy, smiling with medals. Pennyworth describes, in the 5th grade, you won a student engineering competition when a collapsible drawbridge you designed drew attention. An invention that could be used to bring aid to places hit by war or disaster. The design resembled an origami, based on the anatomy of a bat's wing. The prize wasn't just a trophy, it was a trip for your entire class to Gotham Zoo. The camera follows Bruce as an adult, walking through the rusted gates of the abandoned zoo. His fingers touch the flowers planted at the entrance. Pennyworth concludes, heavy as a sentence, where it all began. The blue sky, cut by the flight of crows, is suddenly torn apart by the echo of gunfire. The sound of a shot echoes through the zoo, filled with blood and terror. Two bodies fall. The impact makes silence die with them. Thomas Wayne, teacher, guide of the field trip, lifts his face in despair. Thomas Wayne, follow me. Now. Panic grows. More shots. More screams. The murderous hand fires without remorse. Children look around, unable to understand, only feeling fear. A giraffe rises in the background, a mute witness to the massacre. Another shot. Another life taken. In the middle of the chaos, the killer, cap pulled low, shadow hiding his face, lowers his head to gather the belongings of the dead. The father, firm, without hesitation, takes the lead of the escape. Thomas Wayne, quick, this way, to the bat enclosure. The stampede is frantic. Small feet pounding the ground, sobs, cries mixed with the echo of the guns. Bullets chase the children like invisible predators. Thomas Wayne shouts louder, trying to swallow the terror. Thomas Wayne, everyone inside, and the group of boys and girls, pushed by the instinct of survival, dives into the darkness of the bat enclosure. An improvised refuge, a womb of shadows, where the destiny of Bruce Wayne would be sealed. The children run into the bat enclosure. Thomas Wayne guides them all with urgency, his voice firm, trying to mask the despair. Thomas Wayne, go to the back. The crowd of little ones squeezes into the darkness. But among them, Bruce looks back, his heart in flames. Bruce, Father, come in soon. His eyes widen. The voice repeats, fragile, desperate. Bruce, Dad, Dad. Outside, the sound of the gunshot explodes like a sentence. Thomas Wayne pushes the door, his hand against the metal, blocking the entrance. His voice cuts through the barrier, firm as never before. Thomas Wayne, Bruce, whatever you hear, do not open this door. The corridor fills with heavy footsteps. The assassin approaches. Bruce raises his hand, his palm against the cold iron, like a gesture of farewell. A flower falls to the ground, crushed by the chaos. A last remnant of innocence. Another gunshot. The blood of destiny has already begun to stain Gotham. Pennyworth narration. After the tragedy, you lost yourself for a time. You were arrested, shattered, enraged with the world. The streets of Gotham watched you wander aimlessly. The closed zoo, the rusted gate. Everything reminded you of where the trauma began. But then, you found yourself again. Something inspired you. You straightened up. You went back to school. And you earned a scholarship to the best university in the state. On the field, you tried to prove yourself in football. But already in the first week, a muscle injury took you down. I saw the x-rays. But I have commanded men who faked injuries to escape duty. I suspect that is exactly what you did. But why? You were good enough to be a star, even a professional, because you were saving your body for last night. For all of this, whatever it is that you built, you studied applied mechanics, chemistry, criminal psychology, military theory, sociocultural history, all with a single purpose: to prepare, to forge yourself, to build not just a man, but a weapon. Pennyworth continues, and then you came back home. You settled in Gotham and started working in the power grid. After that, in the water department, then sanitation. You interned at City Hall studying public policies, both macro and micro, learning about your city, the body, the brain, every damned part of Gotham. Until finally you closed the circle. Always the engineer, creating, building. You even fix what breaks, repairing the same things you smashed apart last night. Pennyworth narration, heavier tone. You built something here, Bruce. I see it now, and it is impressive. True, the camera opens to Gotham at dusk. A vast city, alive, pulsing with the scars of its own violence. Pennyworth, with a deep and bitter voice. But I've taken down men like you before. In cities, in jungles, in deserts, all over the world. Because you crusaders, and crusaders always have a weakness. And yours. Meanwhile, his steady hands lock the magazine into the rifle. The metallic click, a grim omen. The sight is no longer that of an observer. It is that of an executioner. Pennyworth, your weakness, she's sitting right there, in the middle of the night on the front steps of your house. The fragile figure, your mother, with irony and tenderness mixed. Her voice cuts through the silence. "Mother, are you really going to make your poor mother wait an hour out here? In the cold, hard streets of Gotham?" Bruce arrives in a rush, breathing heavily, holding a white flower, almost like an apology. "Bruce, sorry, Mom. I just stopped by the zoo." She sighs, exhausted, but forgiving. "Mother, you're forgiven." "Bruce, I heard about what happened at City Hall last night. Are you okay?" "Mother, they stormed in right when I was starting to win over the crowd. But besides that..." Bruce gives a faint smile, the flower still in his hand. From the shadows, Pennyworth watches. His silhouette is motionless. His mind delivers the sentence. "Pennyworth, I could kill you right here, in front of her. It would be easy, and it's what I should do." A phone buzzes in his hand. On the screen, a message flashes. From Julia. "Never contact me again." The reflection of Bruce's family burns in Pennyworth's dark glasses, and his thought closes like a trigger. "Pennyworth, but you're just the projection of a boy." Bruce walks inside, his mother's arm around him. The assassin waits, his cold eyes still locked on him. The night doesn't end. The game is still in motion. Gotham's sky is a sea of clouds. 4 towers pierce the dawn. Inside a tall observatory, a silhouette stands in front of multiple screens. Bruce Wayne. There's more to these monkey skull masks than meets the eye. They're not just for protection, or even intimidation. Close-up of his eyes, light from the screens reflecting. Bruce Wayne. When I opened one of them, the internal circuitry, recording cuts. End of recording. Elsewhere in the building, Pennyworth slowly approaches. Pennyworth. Pretty clever, man. Hidden at the top of these buildings. Pennyworth advances outside the sky-opening building. Pennyworth. All the upper floors are owned by corporations and oligarchs who never use them. A vertical latifundia. He scans the room, gun ready. Pennyworth. You know that, though, because you worked on them. Close up on the scope, finger tightening on the trigger. Pennyworth. But I'm shutting down this business of yours now. The confrontation reaches its limit. The shadows hide nothing anymore. Pennyworth stares Bruce down. Gun steady. Gaze cold as a blade. He lets out a half-smile of contempt. Pennyworth. "Ah, I thought you were better than this, son. You're cornered. And all your high ideals go out the window." Batman raises his own gun. Sights locked, silence heavier than any word. Pennyworth presses on, voice deep and steady, like a father still trying to teach. Pennyworth. Hand over the gun. "Kid, you're not a killer." But the bat's answer comes in the roar of darkness. The trigger pulls fate. The shot tears through the night. Pennyworth is hurled backward, body betrayed by its own flesh, blood painting the air in cruel red. The gun slips from his hands, falling like a verdict. Batman mounts Pennyworth's motorcycle, accelerates, and flees from there, so he doesn't have to kill Pennyworth. The motorcycle's engine roars like thunder trapped in iron and smoke. Batman speeds off, a beast of wheels and a cape, cutting through the chaos. Pennyworth voiceover. And then, some things happen very fast. First, I realized the little son of a bitch modified my prized shotgun to make it non-lethal. He ruined my weapon. Second, I hear the sound of that gun beside me, as if saying, "Keep it." Third, I hear that roar, the roar of my own motorcycle. Fourth, his voice, when he says to me, "Batman, you're not the only one who follows people." And then, the sharp sound of breaking glass. He leaps out the window, 1,000 feet in the air. The Batmachine flies into the night. Blood runs down my face. My breath catches. But my mind can only form one question. Pennyworth, spitting blood through gritted teeth. Where the hell is he going to land? And the world responds with a cruel whisper, painted in letters on the Gotham wall. Bats are crazy. The Gotham sky bends before the full moon, enormous golden, like a beacon of the gods. And against this sacred light, a silhouette rises. Batman. Mounted on his motorcycle, he doesn't run. He flies. After breaking a window, more than 300 meters in the air, his cape spreads, like black wings, embracing the sky. A knight who belongs not to the ground, but to the night itself. Pennyworth's deep voice echoes in the void, like an oath. Pennyworth, and I think to myself, maybe you haven't been so bad lately, Gotham. The entire city watches him, even without seeing him. In the hearts of the innocent, myth is born. In the shadows of criminals, terror grows. There, between the moon and the abyss, a man becomes more than flesh. He becomes legend. He becomes the Bat. Epilogue. Pennyworth, voice on the calm, hard, tired. I'll get him the next time he interferes. Contractor. Understood. Just keep your focus on the partygoers. And, before I forget, your old target? We lost him somewhere in the Philippines. Gone with the wind. Thought you should know. Pennyworth. I lost him. I tracked him for 5 years, while he was studying with Henri Ducard in France, until he killed the poor thing, while he was training with the League of Assassins, only to then kill them all. And now, he's vanished with the wind. Manila, semiconductor factory. Inside the helicopter on the runway, Pilot 1 and Pilot 2 converse in hushed tones. Pilot 1. So, is it just sir? Nothing else? No last name, nothing? Pilot 2. Not. All the names are fake anyway. Jack. Arthur. Hell, even I don't know his real name. But when you're one of the 30 richest men on the planet, you can be whoever you want, I guess. Pilot 1. Do you think he'd like to be my rich, generous best friend? Security, firm, grabbing his arm. Don't do that. Don't joke, man. Why? Security guard, in a somber voice. Didn't you hear? This guy never laughs at anything. Never. That's why they call him. The helicopter door opens. A pale hand grips the metal frame. The shadow curves its body inward. The face appears, pale, the eyes blazing, the sickly smile tearing through the night. The Joker, the darkness, has gained its clown. Continued. The night has fallen over Gotham, but the shadows still hold their secrets. The Bat has shown his fury, and now, an insane smile approaches, ready to turn the city into a never-ending nightmare. The war has only just begun, and you'll want to be here when the next chapter opens. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications, and join us on this explosive journey, because the true confrontation is still to come. Backhand index pointing right, and don't forget, the next episode will be X-Men number 3, From the Ashes. A new chapter, new enemies, and a battle that will set the fate of the mutants on fire. And until next time, nerds,